There we go.
All right. So, good evening, everyone. This is the How Money Works Master Class Part 1. This is where you will learn to stop being a sucker when it comes to money. I'm Beck Welk, and I'm joined with Stephen Ferrulo, and we will be your financial educators for the next 45 minutes to an hour. Your financial literacy journey starts here. You have to face the facts as we know them before you begin this process. Our goal isn't to give you a PhD in finance, but to teach you the basics you need to know in order to make smarter decisions about your money and wealth. That is this foundation. You'll also get to know the cast of characters from the How Money Works Stop Being a Sucker book. If you've read the book, you've already been introduced. If you haven't got the book yet, let us know and we'll get a copy to you out after tonight. So everyone has a favorite character or two. Mine is Clark and George. Clark is the sucker, as he's holding the sucker, but he's got some good things to say in the book. The first choice you have as we begin this course is simple. Will you choose the mindset of a sucker, or will you start to think like the wealthy? It's a choice. The fact that you've joined this class today is a sign that you're on the right track. Here's the great news. You don't have to be wealthy to think like the wealthy. The only thing you need is your knowledge. This is your opportunity to gain that knowledge and mindset. One of our country's founding fathers, Benjamin Franklin, once said, "An investment in knowledge pays the best interest." We salute you for taking the time to learn one of the most valuable skills you can develop. You're going to be glad you did. Comedian W.C. Fields once said, "It's morally wrong to allow a sucker to keep his money." Now, of course, he's kidding. It does, however, prove one thing. If you don't know how money works, you can end up as the butt of someone's joke. For you, that stops today. So we all know that the word sucker sounds insulting. Unfortunately, that's the best way to describe someone who can be taken advantage of because they don't know how things work. Not knowing how money works does suck. It can suck up your time, it can suck up your freedom, and it can also suck up your income. That sucks. There's an old saying, what we think about, we bring about. Your financial reality will largely depend on how your mind works when it comes to money. In today's class tonight, in Masterclass Part 1, we will cover these 5 basic concepts and strategies. Each is essential to the foundation required to start making financial decisions with confidence and start taking action to get yourself on track. So the first one we're going to touch on is that financial illiteracy is the #1 economic crisis in the world. So we all know how devastating a global medical crisis can be. Not knowing about money is the economic version of a global crisis, and it affects over 5 billion people in the world. These people are considered financially illiterate when it comes to their money. The financial devastation it has caused to individuals all over the world is immeasurable, and some of it is intentional. The financial industry won't be happy that we are committed to changing that. If this was still 1920, there would still be millions of adults in our nation who couldn't read. Public education over the last 100 years has changed that. The How Money Works Master Class is public education in financial literacy. With this course, you will learn the building blocks to earn, spend, save, and invest. Just like learning to read. When you know how money really works, it changes how your financial story ends. When you heard me say over 5 billion people in the world are considered financially illiterate, you probably wondered, what does that mean? It references the shocking results of a recent global study. In the study, only 30% of the people in the world are considered financially literate. The study used a simple money quiz to reveal that the vast majority of of people from countries all over the world were unable to correctly answer these few simple questions about money. This class will teach you the answers to those questions and much more. It's the reason we are teaching this course, and hopefully it's why you're here. Our nation isn't any better off than the rest of the world. If you haven't noticed, I'm not originally from America. I'm from Australia. So I can definitely relate that some of these situations that are happening in the US are also happening in Australia. So financial literacy is our top economic crisis. Just look at these numbers. Can you believe that almost half of Americans don't have enough to cover a $400 emergency, or make their student loan payments on time, or even pay off their credit cards, and even people can't even retire at the age they want to? Sarah is right. So Sarah is one of our characters. She's on the screen. How numbers hurt families every day is hard to process. In early 2020, with the number of people on unemployment, the stock market being so volatile, it impacted so many people. And I'm sure the numbers are even worse today. But here's the good news for you and everyone online tonight. With knowledge and action, we can change these numbers. This masterclass is your day one, a new financial reality, a new financial mindset, a new financial future. According to the National Financial Educators Council's recent survey, US adults lost an average of $1,200 in 2018 because they didn't properly understand basic household finance issues. Simply, they didn't know what they were doing with their money. 1 out of 5 lost $2,500. It's like taking a stimulus check and setting it on fire. And only 21 out of 50 states make you take one class about money in high school. And of those that do, they only scratch the surface with topics like how to balance a checkbook. Do you think that's enough? What percentage of schools teach sex education, lacrosse, and broadcast journalism? Almost 50 out of 50. You can't make this stuff up, and it doesn't make any sense to us either. Most of our kids think a personal finance course would benefit them the most. It's hard to find one on your own. That's why we've developed these classes and giving you the book. These are our tools that we are giving out to you guys to help you guys with your financial education journey. So we're going to meet the sucker cycle. It's the trap of foolishly spending and low interest saving that goes on, month after month, year after year, slowly sucking away your potential to be financially free. It also takes away the chance to be wealthy and in control of your finances. Every couple of weeks, the cycle repeats. Extra trips to the grocery store, unnecessary online purchases, another streaming subscription. I'm sure in the last year and a half, this has just gotten worse. And once we entered the COVID world, again, this would have almost doubled. And again, taking our money away, and we probably aren't even aware of it. So most people know how to earn their money and how to spend it, and that's it. But what about all the other options? It's time to break that sucker cycle. Suckers hand their paycheck to someone who builds their own wealth with that sucker's money. Wait till you see what the numbers look like. Little amounts can add up over time and become big amounts. Check this snapshot out from the book. If you have a copy of the book, it's in the book. If not, we'll get the book out to you afterwards, after tonight. So some of these numbers might be a little different since we've all been staying at home. So we would be spending less on clothing, less on ride shares, coffee, and other events, and more on takeout, subscriptions, and maybe even alcohol. I know that when I was at home in Australia, when COVID first started, our alcohol sales went up like 2,000%. So it's crazy what being at home can do to your spending habits. And think of your retirement like it's an airplane. You need both wings to be able to fly. So Social Security and your 401k can make up one wing of the income plan you plan to live on in retirement. The other wing is completely up to you. It's your responsibility. If you hope to live on at least 70% of your pre-retirement income, you'll need to be serious about what you're putting away. Your financial professional can help you decide what that number is and where to put it. I'm in conversations like this every day, and so is Stephen. So we're going to take a look at how Americans are doing with their second wing. So no matter what generation you're part of, none of them are saving enough. Remember, the older you get, the less time you have to put money away, the less time you have to live. So that's going to mean that you're going to have to put more money away each month or each date in order to be able to make your retirement goals. So here's an example that will shine a bright light on the numbers on the possibility of a savings shortfall. If you don't put enough aside each month at a good enough rate of return, your savings can fall short, putting your income, retirement income, and lifestyle at risk. Depending on your shortfall, you might have to re-enter the workforce, cut back on your lifestyle, or even if you have kids, you may even have to move back in with your kids. So how does that sound? So the gray area on the screen shows your savings shortfall, where how much you've saved and how much you actually need. It should be the focus of every American and their financial professional to help close that gap. So this is what it looks like when we nail it and the gap is closed, retirement savings goal has been reached. This person will have a reliable income because they saved the amount necessary and got the rate of return necessary to reach the savings required to make the retirement they imagine possible. There could even be money left over to leave as a legacy for their children or grandchildren, however they want to leave their legacy, and maybe they even want to give it to a charity. It's really up to them. So how does that sound to you? So again, you can work with your financial professional to figure out what those numbers need to be for you. As Steve Siebold said in his book, How Rich People Think, the wealthy think differently than everyone else. Suckers accept their situation about their money and their thoughts. They center it on fear. Their behavior around money centers on foolishness. The wealthy ideally face the same reality, but they choose an alternate mindset. They see money and their future differently. They gather as much knowledge as they can, and they think about money with excitement. They see a bright future, one filled with wealth and opportunity.
Awesome. So next, we're going to get to talk about one of my favorite topics and something that's just really exciting here, guys. So we're going to spend a few minutes learning about the power of compound interest. And Albert Einstein actually said that this was one of the most powerful forces that he ever discovered. So compounding is the interest that interest can earn in addition to the interest your savings can earn. So in other words, interest on interest, as Zoe puts it. So compound interest leverages the power of exponential growth. So this amazing story from the book is about John D Rockefeller, one of America's self-made billionaires, as a lot of you know. And I'll tell you the short version of this. Rockefeller lent $50 to a farmer at 7% when he was a boy, and he earned $3.50 in interest in addition to getting the amount he lent back. So during that same time, he earned $1.12 digging potatoes for 3 days, and all this manual labor. And he looked at his $1.12 he earned from his back-breaking work versus the $3.50 his money earned for him. And that's when he decided to make his money work harder than he ever could. So this is a lesson that you guys will never forget. You decide. You work for your money, limited by time, or you put your money to work and it works for you guys, around the clock, without limit and without you. So Rockefeller went on to say that he had ways of making money that most people had no idea about. And we're about to let you guys in on his secrets here. So the difference between simple and compound interest is substantial. One stays the same and the other one grows and grows and grows. So to see the difference, we're going to look at two different examples of $1,500 growing at 9% over 50 years. With simple interest, that $1,500 grows to just $8,250. So $8,250, not much over a very long amount of time. And now with compound interest, the $1,500 grows to $132,777 in the same number of years. So that's 16 times more money, guys. Notice how the curve on the graph gets steeper in the later years as the power of compounding really starts to take off. Mr. Einstein also said that compound interest is the greatest mathematical discovery of all time. He obviously thought a lot about many things in his lifetime, and he even put the power of compound interest right up there with E equals MC squared. And here in this slide, this is an example of how saving monthly with compound interest can be an absolute game changer. The interest ends up being way more than the amount you saved. The interest in this example is 13 times what you saved alone. So here you can see Rockefeller's secret being revealed. Interest earning interest, creating wealth that your savings alone cannot accomplish. And now that you're starting to get the hang of this, you might have a pretty good guess whether a $50,000 one-time investment or a $500 investment each month becomes more over 45 years. Both accounts earn 9%. Which do you guys think will earn more? $500 per month ends up outpacing the one-time sum of $50,000. Even though TJ saved more over this time, his account passed Sarah's in the same example after only 17 years. So the tortoise beats the hare, slow and steady can win the race. So the return you can get, the return that you get can make a big difference on how the story turns out. And watch what I mean here. So $178 saved each month from ages 25 to 67 at different returns creates very different results. Most people don't understand this, which explains why they choose unfortunate places to save their money. The amount per month and the time are the same. The only change is the rate of return here. So this could mean as much as 797% more money at a 9% return versus a 1% return. That's almost $1 million in difference, as you guys can see there. And your rate of return could be the defining factor that actually closes that retirement savings gap, or it could leave you with a significant shortfall. So focusing on safety alone and ignoring the rate of return can be a costly mistake, guys. Wealthy people want their money to work for them as hard as they did for it.
All right, so I'm going to cover the time value of money with you. So we've all been guilty of squandering time. It's especially costly when you lose the value of money over that time. You never get that time back and the money is lost. Doesn't that suck? Time is one of our most precious commodities. How long do you have until you pay off your car or your home or send your kids to college or even to retire? Or there's even the possibility that you may run out of money before you die. And you need to know these numbers. Why? Because it forces us to value the time we have. There are 3 ways to leverage the time value of money. Start now, save regularly, and be patient. Starting earlier is always a good idea. It makes a significant difference. In this case, savings from ages 22 to 30 is better than from ages 30 to 67. $110,892 better than after putting away 4.75 times less money. This is a common sense principle to understand that is frequently ignored. The longer you wait, the more you have to save to hit your goal. Don't wait. Here is a picture of the numbers that breaks it down by age. For each million you want at retirement, you can see the monthly amount you need to save to hit it. At age 30, you need to save $282 per month to have $1 million at retirement. But if you wait until age 40, you will need to save $731 per month. At some point, you will outpace your ability to hit your monthly savings. You simply can't afford it at age 60. At that point, you will have 2 choices to make: shrink your dreams, or find a way to earn more money. Now might be a good time to start applying these principles for yourself and see what it looks like for you. On a piece of paper, if you have a book, write down your age and how much you need to save from the previous slide. What happens if you wait 5 years? How fast has the last 5 years flown by? I know for me, the last 5 years have gone by so fast. So everyone needs to know this information now because time is ticking away. Sucker-minded people never think it's a good time to take care of this. The wealthy-minded get started as soon as they can, which is now, if not sooner. So that covers the time value of money. Our next topic is going to be our $1 million baby. So if you have children or are planning on having children later in life, definitely tune in because this is pretty important stuff to know. So this is an example of reimagining of how parents can leave a legacy for their children. It's a strategy that applies the power of compound interest and the time value of money in a way that makes the traditional end-of-life wealth transfer seem old. Only 20% of children will receive an inheritance. It's probably even lower than that now because of so many challenges that people have faced throughout 2020 and even heading into 2021. If you want to leave your children $1 million at their retirement, which is more likely, you either give them each $1 million in cash when they're adults and you've saved enough, or you develop a plan to save a fraction of that amount for each child when they're young. We know how hard it is for retirement-aged parents to preserve an inheritance for adult children. With seniors living longer, almost all of their savings may be required to cover decades of expenses, including medical bills and long-term care. This new reality of longevity can remove the possibility of leaving an inheritance the old way. Since it's so hard to leave an inheritance today, why not use the greatest financial asset your child has? Time. They have an entire life of it. What could the power of compounding do for your child over 67 years? We're going to take a look at this. $1 Million Baby leverages three simple money concepts: the power of compound interest, the time value of money, and wealth protection. This is one of my favorite quotes. Nelson Henderson said, "The true meaning of life is to plant trees under whose shade you do not expect to sit." So, could you use the money principles you've learned tonight to save $1 million for your child or grandchild? It's easier than you think. The following examples are hypotheticals, and they are simply to illustrate how this can work. In this example, Dana puts $13,000 aside one time and leaves it there from her daughter's birth until her daughter turns 67. It grows at a 6.5% rate of return to a little over $1 million at age 67. If Dana waits until her daughter graduates from high school, her daughter will only receive about $300,000 when she turns 67. What a difference 18 years can make. And Hector doesn't have $13,000 sitting around, but he still wants his son to retire with $1 million. He and his relatives can work together to save $2,500 now and then just $250 a month for the next 4 years. Then, like magic, they'll hit that goal too. His son can also retire with $1 million waiting for him. If Hector waits 18 years until his son turns 18, it's as if he waited and like Dana had waited. Similar kind of results, a little over $300,000 again. So we are in the process of developing a calculator that will allow you to play with the numbers to see what it may look like for you in your case. In the meantime, your financial professional can help you decide. There are 250 children born every minute. They could each live a different life if their parents or grandparents did this for them when they were young. Now you see why we call this the $1 million baby. How appreciative would your kids be one day, perhaps when they're gone, that their parents thought about their future and knew how money works and acted in love to take care of them. That's a thank you that could change your legacy forever. Once again, sucker-minded people leave it all to chance, while the wealthy-minded realize what a dream come true it would be to do that for their family.
Awesome. Thank you, Beck. All right, guys. So now we're in the home stretch here, but we're going to cover one of the most amazing strategies here to just kind of hear about the rule of 72. So we have any of you guys heard of this before? It's a little known mental math shortcut that typically only the wealthy have used for years, but everybody should know about this. So you guys are going to simply divide any interest rate into the number 72, and it will tell you how long it takes for your money to double. So it works for you if you're saving money or investing money, and it works against you if you're borrowing money. At a 1% rate of return, it'll take you 72 years for $1 to turn into $2. And as most of you would think, that's a long time. So would anyone knowingly choose to do that on purpose? Keep that question in mind, and we'll come back to that. And as you can see, the better rate of return that you get, the faster your money can double. At a 3% rate of return, every 24 years. At 6%, it's every 12 years. At 9%, every 8 years. And at 12%, every 6 years. That's a little more like it. And here, guys, is another way to look at this in terms of the number of doubles you could have over your lifetime. At 1%, you'll be lucky if you live long enough to get one double. At 6%, you could have 4 doubles, not bad. And at 12%, it could be as many as 8 doubles. Each double is twice the money, and every double counts here. And then remember that question about the 1%. Would anyone choose 72 years to double? Oh yeah, because people don't know how money works, there's almost $10 trillion just sitting in passbook savings accounts that average 0.10%. That's just a fraction of 1%. There's a lot of them that are even closer to 0.02%. And when CNBC did a review on our book a few months ago, this is one of the things that they continually pointed out to be almost unbelievable. Once people start realizing this, that really wakes you up. So if you divide 0.10 into 72, you're looking at 720 years for your account to double. So by the year 2740, and as George says it best here, his great, 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 great grandchildren will love it. And just so we're clear, the same place that's giving you 0.10% can charge you 16% or more for a credit card, which means that their money is doubling on us every 4.5 years. So now you see why the subtitle of the book is Stop Being a Sucker. You guys need to know how money works today, not tomorrow, today. And of course, the bank, when you walk into the bank, they're going to give you a lollipop for your trouble while you're waiting in line to make a deposit. And the funny part is what kind of sucker is it? Usually it's a dum-dum. So, and we can't make this stuff up, guys. It's like they're literally trying to tell us, but we don't know the code. And you can also use this to figure out what your return will be, your return would need to be for a savings goal, or what a loan would cost you. So this is not the time to be sucker-minded. This is the time to apply the rule of 72 to all your finances, just like the wealthy people do. And guys, so we're at the conclusion of today's course. Principles like you just learned are going to be bringing up questions to mind, like the ones you're seeing here on your screen. Should you use a bank account? What are the safe options? Should you refinance a loan at a lower rate? What can you do to help make more doubles possible? A financial professional is the best person for you guys to turn to for questions like these and others. And we'd be happy to discuss this with you if you don't already have one or you need help choosing one. And then when we get together next time, we're going to be hosting the Masterclass Part 2, which will actually show you guys how to apply today's principles to your finances using a practical, straightforward action plan and products and services that will help you make that happen. We're going to take you through the 7 money milestones to help you chart your course along the way. And so each milestone is really important to complete to a complete financial plan. And the good news is you guys have already begun milestone 1, financial education. Going through these master classes, reading the book, you're becoming more financially literate and will hopefully be able to discuss your situation with a financial professional, which we strongly recommend you guys do. And there are strategies and products with benefits like those you see here on the screen, zero market risk, long-term care, tax-free income. So make sure that if any of those stand out to you guys, to ask about them. And we'll dive into talking more about the impact of taxes as you guys are working through your personal finance plan. So it's really like punching driving directions into your phone. 2 points of reference is all you really need. 1, where are you and where do you want to go? The same is true to chart the course with your financial roadmap. The How Money Works money discovery in the back of the book can help you take care of that. So guys, that's a wrap for today's masterclass. We look forward to seeing you next time. And until then, please review what you guys learned today by reading the book again and preparing to apply this knowledge of these principles to your finances, and financial literacy can be yours. And yeah, if you guys also have any questions, and make sure you reach out to the person who invited you to tonight's training, and we'll be happy to talk about these things more with you guys. So thank you for your time.